All right, welcome everybody. This is lesson 5.2. I did teach this on a Thursday. So here's the new setup we have. 5.2, that is your header. You should have the notes. On the notes, please write your essential question down. How are symbols used to write expressions, equations, and inequalities? Here's the homework that is due for this one. And then, ladies and gentlemen, the standard for today. Okay, so as we're going through this, please make sure you look at these first two inequalities. Don't worry about the third one. Please do the bell work on these two. All right, remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is all Chapter 5 bell work. It's going to be on one single sheet. It's going to be 5 lessons. It's going to be turned in at the end. And for everybody that does it, I will probably count this one as extra credit. All right, add 3 to both sides. So your inequality would be at 8, and it's going to be y is greater than 8. So I know if I put a number 10 in there, it makes it a true statement, so it's got to go that way. And then this one here, you would subtract 3n from both sides. If you do, you're going to n is greater than 9, which would be open and circle. And if I put number 20 in here, that'd be a true statement. 20 is over here, so I'm going that way. All right, today, now we're going to be talking about solving equations using solving inequalities using multiplication and division. One key note aspect is if you're multiplying inequalities by a positive number, does anything change? No. But when you multiply it by a negative number, the signs do switch. Okay, that is when you multiply it by a negative only. So let's begin. Mateo started walking at a rate of 3/4 miles. So we'll get to that, the graph we just did in a second. He knows that it is at least 9 miles to Onyx. So at least it's 9. So what that means, ladies and gentlemen, is it can be more than that? Yes, but it's at least 9 miles. So that would be the setup of the equation. Then what you want to do is write and solve the inequality. So we're going to solve it. There are 2 ways to do it. I'll show you I'll show you the 2 ways that you can do it, and then I'm going to do it the quicker way going forward. But you guys can do the longer one if you want. Which means if you have it set up like this, first thing I've always taught you guys to do is do what? Get rid of the fraction. So you can multiply both sides by 4. Okay, then you'd have 3x, because these cancel out, is greater than or equal to 9 times 3 is 36. And you would divide by 3, so you'd get x is greater than or equal to 12. So we know it's going to take him at least 12 hours to walk if he's walking at this rate. All right, walking pretty slow. That's slower than what I even want. So what you have on here is, there's your equation. Okay, you're going to take him 12 hours to walk that rate. Now, what you can do is another way. So if I rewrote this equation, all right, the other way to actually simplify this is to multiply it by the reciprocal of the fraction. So you can multiply both sides by 4/3. Okay, and if you do that, these all cancel out. So you have x, and then this, remember this is 9/1, so it would be 9 times 4, which is 36/3, which would be equal to 12. Okay, same answer, okay, just multiplying it by the fraction to get rid of it in one shot. Okay, if you can do the math in your head, 36, you can put this in a calculator, 9 times 4/3, it would give you an answer of 12. All right, you guys, I want you to work on this, please. All right, so on this particular equation, 750, more than 750 species, so if it contains more than that, it's going to be going, I believe, that way is what we had talked about in class. 1/4 to x, actually I wrote that the wrong way. More than is this way because it would be more than this, okay? And 1/4 x, like that. Okay, so it contains more than 750 species, so it's not at least, it's more than. So we know that this number, oh, I gotta switch it around again, is, so I did have it right the first time. We know that it's at least, okay, if this number is gonna be a large number, okay, but we know that this one's gonna be the same amount as well. If you multiply both sides by 4, okay, you would get 3,000. So what that means is that, is it going to be a bigger number than 3,000? Yes, because we can have more than 750 species. Okay. All right. So what I want you guys to do now is we're talking about multiplying by solving. So I'm going to do the quick way, which is to multiply by the reciprocal. So I'm going to solve this one real quick. And the best way for me to do it is to get rid of this so I can kind of do it right next to it. All right, so when you do these, ladies and gentlemen, just please make sure you guys do multiply it. Now, you can multiply by 5 if you want. I will show you both ways, I guess, on this one. So I'm going to do by the reciprocal first. All right, 5 over 3. Multiply this by negative 5 over 3. Okay, so these all cancel out, including the negatives. So I'm left with D. But since I multiplied by negative, I need to switch the sign. 6 times 5 is negative 30. Divided by 3 is negative 10. There's my answer. All right, I'll back out. Write that down before I erase it all. So I'm going to show you guys the other way. Okay, so if I set it up again, all right, if I set it up again, let me change it, get rid of that stuff. All right, if I change it again on this, so let's do that again. All right, now this time I'm just going to multiply it the old school way that you guys do more than once. So multiplying it by, so if I multiply by 5, I'll just do a 5. Now, it doesn't matter if I do a 5 or a negative 5. I'm just doing 5 at this time. If I do that, then it's going to cancel out. I'll get negative 3D. It's greater than or equal to 30. I don't change the sign because I multiplied by a positive number. But now I'm going to divide by a negative. Because remember, never leave the negative with the variable. Always take the negativity with you. So when I take the negativity with me, I got to switch the sign, make it negative 10, which is the same exact answer. 2 ways of doing it. Just make sure you guys know which way to do it. Now, at the beginning, if you multiply by a negative 5, make sure that when you come down to here, you would switch the sign right away. Whenever you multiply or divide by a negative, switch the signs. Okay, on the work, ladies and gentlemen, please graph these out. All right, there's a lot on here, but I want to make sure you guys understood the principles and philosophies. Multiply by negative 6. Okay, then you would have n, that's an n by the way, is greater than or equal to negative 48. Okay, if I were to plot this out, you would want to go negative 48, closed interval. All right, and every number greater than that, so it's going that way. This one here, I'm going to do a one step, multiply by 3 over 4, negative. Multiply by negative 3 over 4, okay? That cancels all of this out. P, switch the sign, and that would be negative and a negative is now positive. 30 over 4, okay, whatever the number that is, I think that's like 7 1/4, something weird like that. If you guys plot that out, know it's an open interval, and I think if it's 7 and I'll just go 30. If it's 30 over 4, it's going to be going that way. Oops, wrong way, sorry. It's going to be going, because that's the biggest number, it's going that way. So if I put a 0 in there, does that make it a true statement? Yes. So make sure you're going the right way like I am. Multiply both sides by 5 on this one. Since it's multiplying by a positive, do you switch the sign? No, you do not. So that would be negative 15. You drop it right here, and it's greater than. So I know it's going that way. If I put a 0 in there, that makes it a true statement. Last but not least, 8 over 3, 8 over 3, so that'd be 40 over 3. Okay, and it's an open interval. And then you'd have to find out its t is less than 40 over 3 because we didn't multiply or divide by a negative. So if I put 0 in here, does that make it a true statement? So it's going that way. Okay. All right, so please make sure you guys understand which way you're going. If I missed any of that up because I'm going fast, let me know. Same rules apply for the negative. If you look at this, dividing it by a negative, we'll switch the signs. So we'll do these real quick. Divide, negative 8. Take the negativity with you. This is just by 12, so it's k to 5. Okay, do you have to switch the sign? No, but this one we're dividing by a negative, so you have to switch the sign around. Now, I think that's negative 17. I'm not sure, but I think if you do it in the calculator, you'll figure it out. The reason you have to switch it is because if I plug in a number that is greater than 17, so if I plug in a 0, all right, is 0 less than 136? Yes. Okay, if I plug in a negative 8. Okay, negative 8 is greater than negative 17. Negative 8 would be negative times a negative is positive, so it would be positive 64 is less than 136. So is that statement true? It is. Okay, so it's every number greater than. So just make sure you guys know which way you're going and which way the interval notation goes. Simple enough. Your turn. Work on these real quick. All right, when you guys do this, make sure you guys divide by, this is positive number, so we're not switching the sign. This is dividing by a positive number, so you're not switching the sign. This is going to be actually multiplying by a negative 2. So that would be, and switch the sign, negative 12. Okay, this one here would be negative 7. Same thing because you don't switch the sign. All right, I can't remember if 58 divided by 8 is the actual number. I don't know if it is. 58, I don't know if it is. And then this one here, you would divide both sides by negative 12. You divide by negative 12, you get h. Flip the sign, 15 over 12, that's negative. All right, so make sure you guys plot these out appropriately, and you go from there. Work on the homework on this as well. Another simple lesson, okay? If you guys have any questions, come see me in class. We're going to next move into multi-step inequalities where we have to do more than just one step to solve them.